This presentation is about online learning in the K-12 sector by Allison Doris, Ashley Hope, Jesse Branch, Tasha Cowan, and Talicia John. These are the analysis questions that prompted our research. What is the rationale, or what are the rationales, for why this sector uses online learning in its approach? What predominant theories inform K-12 sector's approach to online learning? What do these theories have in common? How are these theories different? And finally, what are the major reviews of online learning in the K-12 sector saying about it as a learning approach?
What is the rationale or rationales for why this sector uses online learning in its approach? In an article entitled How Online Learning is Revolutionizing K-12 Education and Benefiting Students, written by Dan Lips 2010, he states, virtual and blended learning programs will enable mass customization in education, allowing students to learn at their own pace in ways that are tailored to their learning styles and interests. This particular quote outlines the flexibility of online learning and the freedom it affords its students. This flexibility becomes even more evident within a problem-based learning design. Online learning provides students with choice and flexibility in their learning opportunities. The student-paced environment caters to different learning styles. It provides easy access to quality education. Teachers have flexibility with presentation methods as well as with their schedules. Online learning can lower education costs for students and taxpayers because there are less things that need funding. Saved funds could be reused for teacher training or wages. And online learning provides students the ability to make connections with other learners, ideas, and digital content from around the world.
Blended learning. In the context of the K-12 sector, blended learning is adding an online component to supplement the in-class portion. It affords students the ability to stay organized, access coursework, communicate with classmates and teachers, and keep track of their grades all in a flexible way. Blended learning uses a provincial learning management system to give students access to a variety of online assignments, calendars, and resources for their course to combine traditional and in-class learning with independent development for students, each at their own pace. Benefits of a blended learning environment: maintains students' interest and focus, allows a flexible learning environment, enables students to learn at their own pace, efficient for all learning styles, promotes students' independence and ownership, allows for instant or near-instant feedback from co-learners and instructors. Online learning and MOOCs. Open learning provides an authentic way for learners to experience how to influence and have a voice in their learning. Advances in online learning within this sector tend to start at the high school level and trickle downwards. To MOOCify your K-12 learning environment, consider short, student-directed open projects that promote authentic inquiry-based learning with an emphasis on social media integration and network learning. MOOCs tend to require a high amount of self-motivation on the part of the student because of the potentially huge class sizes. For younger classes, the use of MOOC programs may need the support of the blended learning environment. In the K-12, there is support to promote cross-curricular inquiry-based projects based on solving problems that encourage students to innovate and construct their own learning. MOOCs often have quizzes embedded to test students' knowledge. Adapting this within opportunities for rewards and reinforcement would also help MOOCs to be successful in K-12 education. Canada's overview of K-12 online learning programs. Canada is a leader in providing online learning opportunities. In this slide, we see the many online learning programs offered across Canada.
What predominant theories inform the K-12 sector's approach to online learning? Constructivist learning theory is the learning theory where one is intrinsically motivated to seek and build on their knowledge. This is evident in online learning because students independently maneuver themselves through the course, seeking new information and completing assignments. There's often discussions with peers, but the motivation comes from within. Behaviors theory. The idea of reinforcement is beneficial to keeping K-12 students engaged. Turning learning into a game is an excellent way of rewarding learning and keeping it engaging. Social cognitive theory. It's learning by observing how other people interact with the environment. This is done through using people as models. Technology allows students access to a multitude of possible models in any context. This includes the idea of self-efficacy, which is an independent confidence in one's ability to reach their goals. This self-confidence is very beneficial in an online environment and increases as students gain understanding of a modeled skill.
What do these theories have in common? Constructivist theory and social cognitive theory are similar because they both involve a building and filtering of information. Behaviorist theory and social cognitive theory both believe that the learning occurs through the environment, whereas in behavioralist theory, the reinforcement is something more real, like a grade or a reward. The reinforcement in the social cognitive theory is the reassurance of seeing other people perform. The social cognitive and behavioralist theory are also similar, in that they both attempt to explain human behaviors, but in different ways. How are these theories different? In behaviorist theory, knowledge and behaviors are reinforced independently, whereas in social cognitive theory, learning happens with a more collaborative approach, learning by observing others. Behaviorism differs from constructivism because it requires the use of a specific reinforcement to maintain engagement. Reinforcement used in behavioralism is especially beneficial when teaching children, but it means the motivation to learn comes from an outside source, unlike constructivism, where learners are self-driven. What are the major reviews of online learning in the K-12 sector saying about it as a learning approach? Saves time and money for teachers, easy access to material and feedback for students, and also helps to enhance self-management skills. It can provide clear criteria and assignment goals, allows easy conversation with peers and teachers, asynchronous and synchronous, gives students choice in their education opportunities, but does need more research in design and delivery methods.
These are the synthesis questions to ponder after the presentation. How do you see K-12 online learning in the future? How do the roles of the educator and the learner change in the online learning environment? What could be done in order to maximize the learner's experience with online learning? And finally, how would you change the online learning approach for K-12?
In this slide are the resources that we used for this presentation. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to your feedback.